not. I'm not here to be a speaker. We are all going to be doing this. We're all going to be doing this together. So there is a quote. There is a quote that I hear every time, and the quote says that the only thing that is constant is change, and change is possible when we break free from limiting beliefs. And it was the first thing that came to my mind when I was given this topic. And I'm like, okay, I feel like if we can just even talk about these codes, we can just round off the section for today and call it a night. The code says the only thing that is constant is change, and change is possible when we break free from limiting beliefs. Growing up, I heard a lot of stories from grown-ups, from my classmates, from colleagues, because it wasn't my reality, to be sincere. I didn't face that. They'll tell a story of how a girl can't do this because you're a girl, a boy can't do this because you're a boy, boys don't cry, and all of those things. And now that I'm adult, I still hear the same things. They say boys don't cry, girls are not expected to do this. And at every chance that I get, I tell my male friends that, see, you can cry. You are first human before a man or a boy or whatever you are. You understand? And crying is human and is not gendered. So crying is not for one gender and then the other gender is supposed to man up, quote unquote, like they say it. But then today we can see the progress that we know life is bigger than those old scripts. Those are old scripts and they should not follow us. Let's talk today about how we can break free from those limiting beliefs, those traditional beliefs that we have in our heads and in the society. Like I said, the only thing that is constant is change, and change is possible when we break free from limiting beliefs. First, I'd like to hear our thoughts. When we hear gender roles, what comes to our mind? Remember that our topic for tonight is challenging traditional gender roles and stereotypes. So when we hear gender roles, what comes to our mind? What comes to our mind when we hear gender roles? What comes to your mind when you hear gender stereotypes? I've even heard about these words before. I'd like to hear. If you'd like to use the chat box, please feel free. And if you want to also talk, please feel free. Yes. Gender roles. When you hear gender roles, what comes to your mind? Please don't hear me. Please don't hear me. Please don't hear me. When you hear gender roles, what comes to your mind when you hear gender roles? No right or wrong answers. Yes, I also forgot to have that. Everybody's correct. There's no wrong answer here. So let me hear what comes to your mind when you hear gender roles.
Good evening, ma'am. Can you
Good
hear me?
evening. Yes, I can clearly.
Okay, so my name is Farouk Fridaus Bolatito, and I am a student currently. So when I hear gender role, what comes to my mind are those socially accepted, like those socially constructed roles that have been assigned to a particular
Mm,
gender.
brilliant.
Ma?
I love that. I love that. That's brilliant. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Can we have someone else? Okay,
It's
we have
good
two hands
evening.
up.
Can you hear
Okay.
me?
Yes, I can hear you now, sir.
Good evening. My name is Wasido Adebola. I'm a
Thank you.
graduate. All right. So when I hear gender role, what comes to my mind is society expectations. What are the
Mm,
society expecting from a particular gender, be it female or male? It's just about expectations of the society upon a particular gender.
thank you so much. That was brilliant. Oluwaseyi, Lisa, you have your hands up.
Okay, I think Wasiu has said something that is just talking uh about how individuals should behave in society and something that has to do with expectation. Why
Mm,
gender type talks about um something that has to be fixed and maybe aggregated beliefs or what people know about men and women in the society, like what they have, just like you have said from the beginning. You said men don't cry, something like that.
Yes.
That's what it has something to do with the way people mentally assume things in the society. So that's the way that is all about gender stereotypes.
That was brilliant. Thank you so much for your contribution. Do we have any other person who wants to speak? Okay, so I mean, I think Oluwaseyi was the only one who touched on gender stereotypes. Do we have any other person that wants to talk about that before we move straight into it? Okay, so let's just go on. So when we talk about gender roles are those expectations. I mean, I feel like when I heard everyone talking and I heard your ideas and what you had to say, I was like, okay, can we just end this section because every person like you actually know why we're here today. But let me just go straight to what gender roles are. Gender roles are the expectations and norms that society has about how individuals should behave on their perceived gender. Now, they dictate tasks, responsibilities, and behaviors considered appropriate for men and women. Those are gender roles. So they'll tell you in the house, or yes, in a particular household, women are expected to take care of the house while men provide. And that's why men provide and pay the bills. So those are gender roles. They're the expectations. They are things that we built up as a society ourselves. So there are norms that society has about individuals, how they should behave, based on their perceived gender. So because you are a female, you have to behave this way. You have to, this is your responsibility, this is your task. Because you are a male, this is your responsibility, this is your task. So what are gender stereotypes? Gender stereotypes are oversimplified and widely accepted ideas about the characteristics, the traits, and the roles of men and women. They assume everyone must behave in a certain way because of a gender. Everyone must like something because of their gender. Everyone must do this because of their gender. So I know that in Nigeria we say that the accepted color for a female is pink. Yeah, but then have you seen Yoruba men on kaftan, on agbada, like pink agbada? Oh God, they are so cute. So what makes us think that pink is just made for women or for girls or for baby girls? And I think I heard in a section that I facilitated some years ago that pink was originally made for the male gender, or the male gender used to wear pink. So what happened to us? How did we shift? How did our perception, how did we then share roles? How did we then share colors to each gender? Now, gender roles and stereotypes still influence how people are treated at work, are treated at home, are treated in the society. And they actually limit people's opportunities. They limit our talents. They limit our dreams. You see some people, they tell you, oh, I want to become a nurse. And someone then is advising you is that, why do you want to become a nurse? Why can't you become something else? Or, oh, I want to become a medical doctor. And you hear, oh, Biriniela, you're a female. Why do you want to become a doctor when you can become a nurse? How did we get there? How did we get there? Some decades ago, a woman who was trying to be a doctor was told, you should be a nurse instead, because what? Men are doctors and not women. How did we get there? And then we also have like men that say they want to learn fashion designing or nail tech. And the way the society looks at them, like, what are you doing? You're a man, for crying out loud. You shouldn't be doing this. You should be seeing where you actually make use of your energy. Like, who gave them that energy? How did we get there? And there's this kind of perception people have about girls who can probably turn on the gen fairs and do certain things. They'll be like, obìnrin bí ọkùnrin, azazao. Who made that classification? Who made that culture? Yeah. How exactly did we arrive here? In Japan, yeah, many companies expected women to quit their jobs once they get married. And over time, this practice led to a shortage of skilled workers, and then their economy actually shut down totally because half the talent was being pushed away. You have no idea what women contribute to society, and then you also have no idea what men contribute to society. So we can't do without ourselves. And this traditional thinking, this traditional attitude that we have, it can do and will do. It can do a lot. So let's look at the traditional gender roles for men. Men are expected to be providers, men are expected to be leaders, men are expected to be tough and unemotional. And I don't know, I love the male gender so much. Like, and I tell my friends, like I said from the beginning, be human. Don't be a man. Don't man up. Now let's look at the traditional gender roles for women. Women are expected to be caregivers, to be homemakers, to be emotional, and to be submissive. But thankfully today, we have women who are bank MDs, we have women who are CEOs, we have women who are movers and shakers in the society. Now, let's talk about traditional gender roles. Yeah, they refer to long-standing cultural expectations that assign specific duties and behaviors to men and women, often without flexibility. It is not even flexible because if you try to change it, they look at you with some kind of eyes like, who is this one? Where is this one coming from? I've been to like a lot of outreaches, and then we're trying to talk to people, and we're trying to tell them, we don't have to have gender wars. Forget about what feminists on Twitter are doing. That is not feminism. I studied literature, and I did an in-depth study of feminism, and I know what it is. It is not gender war. We are not fighting. We are only saying that let's come to a compromise. Let's leave what society expects us to do and do what we think that is right. And how do we do what we think that is right? It's what we feel when we talk about how to do things that are right by genders. If I do this thing, how will this person feel? How will it affect this person mentally, emotionally? Will this thing hurt this person? I think that's what we should look at. We should more humanly and then forget about the societal expectation. Trust me, society will adjust. They will move. They will adjust. Like I said, in so many years in Japan, the companies they expected women to like quit their job once they get married. But because they saw the effect, they saw what happened, they had to adjust to it. And check now, check online, search online, check for Japan, and you see that women are actually moving their economic situation. Women have helped them to, achieve over like 50-60%, of their economic growth. So let's now talk about problems with gender stereotypes. Problems with gender stereotypes. I want to ask us, how do you think that stereotype cause harm? I need to ask us, I want us to talk because we've been quiet for the longest time. How do we think that stereotype cause harm? I need like 2-3 people to talk, so we can move forward and then round off in no time. How do we think that stereotypes actually cause harm? You have the floor.
All right. Thank you very much for that presentation so far. That's an excellent presentation. Well done. So for me, I think that this stereotype causes I will use me as a guy, for instance,
Okay.
sometimes what the society is expected from you. Today I was just discussing with one of my friends that even people are not like looking at the boy's child, they feel like, oh, guys, you can always find your way. They're only concerned about the ladies and all. You understand? And this thing are causing depression, causing a lot of things. Imagine the society where we find ourselves. This pressure making some people, some guys, want to commit suicide and all those kind of things because the society only focused on the lady. They feel like, oh, guys can always find their way, maneuver things, and So I think you also need to speak for the guys too.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for raising that point. Do we have any other person? Thank you very much, Wasiu, for raising that point. Any other person wants to speak? Please feel free to unmute your mic and then speak. Okay, so we have please, the question again. Okay, so how stereotypes cause harm? So how does stereotypes cause harm in the society? What are the problems with gender stereotypes? What are the problems with gender stereotypes?
Good evening. My name is Fatima.
Good
The
evening, Fatima.
problems of gender stereotype, I think we have a lot actually, but I'll just
Okay.
talk for one male and one female.
Yes,
The
please.
male aspect, you've actually mentioned it. It's about the tough and emotionless. They want them
Yes.
to pressure to hide their emotions, and which can hurt their mental health. I mean, the men, they want them to hide their emotions. We pressure them to hide their emotions, like you're a man, so you don't have to show it and all that. So, which can hurt their mental health. And concerning the female, you hear that you're a woman, you later end up in the kitchen. There's no point studying, pushing your careers and all that. So it really discourages people to go for what they want. So that's it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Fatima. Thank you. Do we have any other contribution before we move forward?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am Adam, and I feel gender stereotype causes a lot of harm to the society in a lot of ways, actually. So just like the former speaker said, she said something about people thinking female will later end up in the kitchen. So in the educational aspect, some people look down on females that they cannot go higher than males, or let's say male cannot rule over females. So and if you also look at the political aspect in context, it is very impossible or impossible and I not really possible for a female to be a president or like a leader in some organizations, and their female may be qualified to be the leader of the organization or any other thing, but based on gender stereotype they will say they want a male and all that. So looking at the royal aspect too, the kings and queens and everything, there are some things that will say a female cannot be a king, a female cannot be a leader, a female can, it's not that the female cannot, but they can never be according to them and things like that. So caused a lot of uh that has caused a lot of things that are not that has not made an organization to grow based on the fact that they rely on gender stereotypes, which is a which is something that's supposed to be curbed and prevented in the society at large.
I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you all for your contribution. They were really insightful. I think I'm more interested in that royal house thingy. Why can't a female be a king? I mean, I think the only thing female can be is a delay or something in Yoruba land. Why is that? Eh? What did we do? And the first speaker was he also talked about focusing on the female gender, which I quite agree. Shay, if you remember the first time you spoke to me about this section, and you said it's a group where people learn. I had a question like, I hope it's for both genders. Because these days we know that people focus a lot on the female genders, while the male gender are actually being left out. Yeah, we just put them one side, like you just
Right.
be one.
I think you are muted. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm talking to the speaker. I think she's muted.
I'm so sorry. I didn't realize I was muted. Okay, so I was actually talking about how I asked you, and I wanted to confirm if the group, actually accommodates both gender. and then you confirm. Because yes, society these days, we only focus on the female gender and leave the male gender out. I think there was also a time where people were focusing on the male gender and the female gender were left out. I feel like we can find a balance. And because we can't do without each other, why would you want to train this one and leave this one out? Yeah, if you are building women to have skills, to be influential, to be self-sufficient, and you leave the men out, are you forgetting, or are we forgetting about the fact that these two people will later cohabit, stay together, relate in one kind of way? Yeah. So I remember I'm currently on a project, and every week we go to a particular school, we talk to students, and when we got to these gender stereotypes, a lot of them were surprised at so many things that we said. And because of that, we had to bring like a male nurse, a female doctor to convince them, like, look, we know you've heard a lot in your houses. We know that where you're coming from, this is what they've taught you. But it is only society that has made it so. And trust me, society, they can do and undo. I once worked with a team where the manager would say, oh, ladies first. Ladies should go first. If you want to talk, ladies first. But then when it comes to leading critical projects, when it comes to leading important projects, it will never involve the ladies. It will never involve the ladies, and which doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Equality, it's about creating inclusion for everybody, give everybody the real opportunities that they actually need. So yes, we need to break out from gender stereotypes. So let me just go over some of the arms that I have here, some of the arms that I have here. Yes, it limits people's freedom and choices. People want to do what they want, but because of gender stereotypes, people feel pressured to behave in a certain way instead of following their dreams or their interests. I have a friend, he's a designer. He designs female clothes or female clothing. But because, so that they won't tag him as something else, every time he designs clothes, he has to like call his female friends for them to market or for them to do this or do that for him, because he can't do it for himself. I mean, it's getting better now. It was much more worse in some days, but now it's getting better. So it limits people's choices, people's freedom. I remember in what year like that, I think it was the first or second tenure. I think it was the first time Obama did his campaign, and he said that if ever his wife wants to contest for president or something, he will gladly be a stay-at-home husband, and allow his wife have time for the country or do what she's supposed to do. But gender stereotypes actually limit people's freedom and choices, and it also causes mental health issues. Because I'm a man, I'm feeling trapped. I can't talk. I can't cry out for help. I can't do this. I can't do that. Because I am a lady, I feel I can't be good enough. The only place I'm good at is at the kitchen. The only place I can do things is in the other room, like our former president says or said. So this can actually cause like stress. It can cause anxiety. It can cause depression. Like people go into confirmed depression because they've been stereotyped. Yeah. And so let's talk about examples of challenging stereotypes: stay-at-home fathers, women leading companies or countries, boy expressing their emotions openly. If a boy should express his emotion openly, even to his friends, kí ló ń ṣe ẹ́ tó ń ṣe bí obìnrin? Kò ṣe bí obìnrin is just human, and that is how human beings should express themselves, because they are human. Girls studying engineering or science or math. I remember then in science class, 95% of science students are always men or boys. 95% of science students, they are boys. And if you see a girl amidst them, it's either she's probably being protected at all costs, or they kind of intimidate her. And she's not even able to live up to the fullest. So gender stereotype, means okay, I already talked about gender stereotypes. So breaking out of gender stereotypes means challenging the outdated and limiting beliefs about women and men, challenging the limiting belief of how women should behave or how men should behave, and allow everyone live with authenticity. Allow everyone live the way they should live, the way God has created us to live. He created us male and female. He created us boy and girl. So how can we break this stereotype? How can we break this stereotype? I mentioned that I'm on a project, and every week we go to a particular school to actually educate them. Actually, the project is on sexual and reproductive health rights, but gender and gender stereotypes and gender roles are just some of the subtopics that we talk about. So how can we then break these stereotypes? Educate children early. Educate children early. Because if we don't educate the children that are close to us, the society will actually get to them before we get to them. And we want to teach them that roles are not gender-based. Why can't a male do that? Not only female are expected to know how to cook. Cooking is a survival skill. So everybody should know how to cook. Yeah, we need to change that thing. Yeah. So we have some common gender stereotypes that boys are managers and girls are housekeepers, boys are powerful and girls are fragile, boys are leaders, women are followers, boys are competent, girls are incompetent, boys are brave. And that's why they have to be strong. They have to act strong all the time. And then women are the weaker vessel. Boys are forceful. Women are calm. Boys are better in science subjects. Women are better in art subjects. Says who? I have friends, female friends, that they are so good at what they do. I have a female friend that is a pilot. So what are we saying? Let's educate the students, the children, in our community, the ones within us. Yeah. Then we should also promote diverse role model. Show them examples of men and women succeeding in various fields. Show them a male that is a nurse. Show them a doctor that is a female. Make sure that we carry them along. And people just don't want you to talk. They also want to see evidence. Like I wanted us to see evidence tonight. I was going to create like slides. I was going to share my screen to display my slide. But I don't know, Nigeria just happened. So people want to see evidence. So give them something to model after. As you're teaching them, give them something to model after. Show them examples. Now use inclusive language. Inclusive language avoids gender bias and respect for people. For example, instead of saying policeman or police woman, why can't you just say police officer? Why can't we say police officer? Like, we have inclusive language that we can actually use that would not make like people fall out. For me, I actually feel like by now the word nurse should be maybe scrapped out or something, and let everybody be doctors. I don't know. I honestly don't understand, because the works that nurses do, oh my God, it's a lot. Then another point is support workplace equality. Now ask myself all the time, if women actually get maternity leave, why can't men get paternity leave? Why can't men get paternity leave? So there should be workplace equality, regardless of their gender, regardless of their sex, regardless of their equal access to opportunities or to pay. In some companies, I even heard that they pay the male gender a higher sum of amount for salary, and then the female gender, they get like lesser amount. Why should it be that way? Why is it that only the female that is getting parental leave, and then the male gender can have access to that? Female will go for parental leave like 6 months, and they'll be able to relax. Yes, we know that carrying a child for 9 months is a lot, and you need to rest. You need that mental rest and everything. But then there's also the female, there's also the father of the child that has been with you for 9 months. He needs to rest. You need to get to know the child. You need to parent your child together. You need to bond together, because this child is relatively new. And it's not that any of you has probably given birth to a child before. Even if the child is not your first, every child is actually different. So the way you cater for this is different from the way you cater for the other. So I feel that if women can have access to maternity leave, they should have access to paternity leave too. Yeah. And thankfully now, the narrative is changing. We have more women becoming CEOs. We have some organizations that are already giving like paternity leave. I don't want to mention organizations, but I know organizations that give like, okay, 2-3 weeks paternity leave. I mean, that is still small, but it's still something, but they can do better. Now we have women who are CEOs, we have women who are politicians, we have women who are leaders. And then now, thankfully, it's like this 21st century. I actually love it. We now have men that are actively involved in parenting and housework. But then we also need to like do a balance, a check and balance, so that people do not take it for granted. We don't have to take ourselves for granted. But thankfully, like I said, I'm happy that we have men that are actively involved in parenting and household work, because two have become one. We are now partners. We're supposed to do things in collaboration. You understand? Then we also have like governments and organizations creating gender neutral roles and policies. It's just that we are praying that we get there in Nigeria. Like I said, gender policies like, equal parental leave for both parents, so that they can actually bond and take care of their children. I think I heard or I read somewhere that Netflix has like a paternity leave. Once you have a child, the mother can go on leave, and then the father can also take some time off to bond with the child, with the newborn. So I don't know if at this point we have any question you'd like to ask, any clarification you want me to make or something. Yeah. Thank you. I'm not done, but let's just feel free to ask our questions, feel free to drop our comment, our reservation or observation. Let's have it. We can use the chat box or we can unmute our mic to talk.
All right. Thank you very much. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can, clearly.
All right. Thank you very much. And that was a wonderful presentation so far. Well done, and thank you for speaking out, speaking for us, that we can also have a paternity leave.
Don't worry, I'm for everybody.
Well, yeah, because I just want to there is this saying, or there is this how would I put it? There's this thing that is happening in our society now that as now that they focus more on ladies, and I heard there is one thing that they say, a guy, that your tears cannot save you. Like your tears can't save you, because people will be like, oh, you need to keep trying, you need to keep striving, you need to take that one aside. Because imagine where we have, for instance, what is happening in the House of Assembly. I just want to use it as
Okay.
as an instance, what is happening in the House of Assembly now, that I don't know, where I did my research and I don't know how true it is or not, regarding Senator Natasha and the Senate Speaker. Something, she was like, when she wanted to attack the Speaker, using it got to a point she started crying so that people can pity her, this and that, going out to the United Nations, trying to, because she feel like she's a lady or she's woman. You understand that instance now? So I think, and this thing is actually causing disunity. It's causing bias. It's causing something like women supporting women, and there should be a way whereby we need to there should be balance. So how do you think we can focus on this balance, or we can bring this balance, so that ladies will not just be using their tears to be like, people start pitying them, and moreover, me, I can't cry, and people just you are just boasting here. What are you crying for? You understand those kind of instances, So how can we balance up in those areas, man?
Okay. Thank you so much for that question. As much as I've not been following up on that case, I think the first thing I'll tell you is that, sir, if you want to cry, cry. If you want to cry, if you feel like crying, I mean, crying is not a gender thing. I mean, I've not been following up with that story. I didn't watch any of the sitting or the section at the House of Assembly or anything. But I just want to say that when people say your tears cannot save you for men, in that context, in the context of gender stereotype, they are pushing back against an old stereotype that women can use tears, their emotional vulnerability, to influence men. For example, to get sympathy, like you said, for Senator Natasha, or for protection, or for forgiveness. But let's look at it in the other way around. What if she was not looking for protection or sympathy or forgiveness? What if that's actually how she feels? Or, that particular issues, hurts her so deeply. And that's the only way she can actually express herself. You understand? And you already know that they say women are weaker vessel, women are emotional. So it's assumed that if a woman should cry, a man would naturally feel compelled, or to protect her, to forgive her. Do you understand? But that phrase that you mentioned, that your tears cannot save you. Yeah, I feel like it's saying that not all men will care if you cry. That crying does not guarantee kindness for you. It doesn't guarantee protection for you. It doesn't guarantee change for you. Being emotional isn't enough to defend you against whatever, against judgmental, against maltreatment, or inequality. I feel that the only way we can stop all this, or have like a balance, is to keep advocating for it, to keep talking about it, to say when men cry, they don't cry because they are weak. And then when women also cry, they're not crying because they want pity party, or they want you to treat them well. It could be how they feel, honestly. And it could be the only way they can actually express themselves. So I'm saying, men, if you have to cry, cry. If they want to call you weak, let them call you weak. And thankfully, we have some organizations somewhere. We don't have many of them. There are very few. We have some organizations somewhere that actually advocate for men, advocate for men's well-being. And then the narrative is actually changing. And don't worry, yeah, don't worry. Like I said, if you have to cry, please cry. Anything anybody wants to say, let them say. Let them say. We are forgetting the traditional gender roles. We are throwing it away, and we're trying to create a safe world, where roles no longer guarantee anything. I hope that answers the question.
My presenter, your mic is muted, man.
Okay, I wanted to ask. I mean, I answered the question. I was just asking if that answers your question. Oh, I'm sorry. Please don't tell me you didn't hear all that I said.
No, at some point you had to go off.
Oh, jeez. Yes, network. Um, sorry, at what point did I stop talking, or what point was that? So I can take it again. I'm with you, please.
I think he's offline now, but I got to your point. I guess he's having network issue.
Okay,
So you can
okay.
go ahead now.
All right, that's good. Okay, so there's a
Guys, are we
question.
good?
There's a question in the chat box, and it says,
Yes,
in what
there's a
way
question.
do media reinforce gender stereotypes? What ways? So for media, I think the media is actually doing a lot, especially the traditional media. They're actually doing a lot. They're still portraying traditional gender roles. And I feel like by now, even though they are traditional means of, communication, traditional media, we even have like some new medias that still like portray traditional gender roles. They still portray women as caregivers, as emotional dependent on men in probably in their advertisement, or their shows on TV. And then they still also portray women and men as strong, as unemotional, aggressive, by fire by force leaders. So I feel like the media actually still portray traditional gender roles. I've seen like many advertisements that women are seen, cleaning the house or caring for children, then men are seen fixing cars or probably working in one high-powered job or high-powered companies. You understand? So these are like some ways that the media actually like, contribute to it. I'm also trying to think of one other way, which might be please give me some time to put my thoughts together. Okay, I think I'll also come from the standpoint of advertising, and beauty standards. So we actually see adverts or narrative that slimness is for women, while masculinity or masculinity is for men. These are like unrealistic standard pressures that people put on this gender, and that is why you see some men in the gym 24/7 trying to gym, or that is why you see someone who just gave birth like barely 3-4 days, and the person is already thinking of how to slim down, how to go back in shape. Or maybe the person is a model, or maybe the person is a presenter, and I'm saying that, oh, this is the kind of way people have seen me before, and I don't want to be seen as this or that. And I also think that language as well. I mean, new media also use like languages like men are leaders or men are assertive, while women are busy doing their work, they're bossy, or they're being emotional, or they're trying to use like their tears to get sympathy or empathy or something like that. Do you understand? And I think I can also give example of when a man commits a crime, and maybe they are described in terms of his career or his talent. They will say something, a doctor in Kiniko just killed his wife. But when it comes to women, they can just say like a prostitute or a highway career person, the way they describe women. So I feel like media actually like doing a lot, which I think the narrative it has to change. Like we have to do everything to make it change. Yeah. So if that answer your questions. I hope my network didn't trip this time around. Okay, brilliant. So I just want to round off with to say that that gender roles are not natural and they are not fixed. The only thing that is natural or fixed in female and male is the way we're created, and that's our sex, our biological characteristics. Those are the things that are natural, that are fixed in our body. So gender roles are not natural, they are not fixed. They are created by society, and we can change it. We can challenge it. We can create freedom. We can create opportunity for everyone. Do you understand? And we all have a role to play in this thing, because when we talk about society, who are the society? Our own. We are the one. We make up the society. Yeah, our friends, our family, ourselves. We make up the society. So we actually have a role in building a society where people can be free to be themselves, where people can live without fear, where people can live without limitations. And I also want to end by saying that no one should be limited by outdated expectations. This traditional stereotype that we have, we should put it behind us. It should be gone, and we shouldn't even look back on it, because the world keeps evolving like every day. And we also need to meet that standard. We have to roll with that evolution. So no one should be limited by outdated expectations. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you're able to learn one or two things. And if you have any questions or any other questions, I'll be here to answer.
All right. Thank you very much, Ma. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. Well, I lost my network earlier, so I just came back. So I have some questions to ask because my jotters is very full here. My jotters, I've been jotting since, and I've jotted a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love this. All right, I'm with you.
It has been an interesting session. So, well, my first question is, how do you think we are like can challenging gender stereotypes lead to more equitable society?
Yes, it can. It can. It can. I mean, it's going to give people freedom um, to live, in their authentic way and manner that God has created us. So we need to challenge it. We need to stop it. We need to break free from that stereotype. We have to do it. So challenging it, yes. And how can we challenge it? All of us can challenge it together. We have to advocate. We need to educate. We need to communicate as well. Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, I think you have also answered the second question I want to ask, because you mentioned that our education, like one of the ways by which we can reduce stereotypes in our society is by educating the young ones, because at least we know that
Educating.
the young people are the future of the nation. So, but
Exactly.
then you know we as individuals, you have said that we need to, we need to take the action upon ourselves to, advocate for it, speak for it, and to bring about the changes that we want. All right, thank you very much for that beautiful presentation. Well done, and we look forward to
You're
also
welcome.
having you some other times.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And we as adults, if we are looking for how we can get involved, so we've learned this thing. How did we learn it? Through the society. How can we unlearn it? It's why we are on platform like this to actually unlearn, things that we've learned. And then we can also relearn so we can educate others as well. Thank you
Yes,
so
thank
much.
you. Yes,
Yeah.
and also, I like today. I was actually thinking of something, but now that you based on this learning, now it has also shifted my, my the thoughts what I was planning
Okay.
to work on before, because I was like, I'm using myself as personal example. There was sometimes ago I was crying. I sent a voice note to my mom, crying that I'm passing through a lot. I don't understand the way my life and everything was going, this and that. You know, her response was that even my sister heard the voice note. She was like, this you are not even behaving like a guy.
Ah,
You understand? Look But then I
I
don't want, I don't want,
agree.
I don't want depression to kill me. So I had to speak out. I was like, because I wasn't enjoying the way things were going for me. I was like, I need to speak out. I need prayer. My mother pray for me. These are. I don't understand my life. I know. My sister just you are not even doing like a guy.
No, don't mind them. Next time they'll tell them you are human first before being a guy. God created you to be human being, before being a guy or a lady. So you have to express yourself. You have to speak about the ways that you feel. And that's why a lot of people commit suicide, especially if, the male gender. That's why
Very,
you just see somebody ended this, or a man left his wife and his child at home and he went to jump on the or over Tomila Bridge. That's because there's no system. There is no system that has been created, for this gender to express themselves, and like I said, this is a platform, this is an opportunity for you to now go back home and then educate people at home and allow them relearn. How did we learn all these things? Through society. We can also relearn them as well. Yeah.
right. Thank you very much. Because my thinking was to focus on speaking for the boys' child too. I
Okay.
started drafting a template to I want to start advocating for boys' child. That their voice also needs to be heard. They are also passing through a lot. They are also matters too. But now that you have explained this to us, I think inclusion for all is one of the most important things.
Exactly, inclusion for all. And we have like quite a number of organizations that are actually advocating for boy. You can for the boy child, sorry, you can actually check online and see if you can work with one or two of them.
All right. Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Do we have any other questions before we round off and call it a night? We would
Okay,
appreciate if I
I
share
think
the
you have some
slide.
question in the chat box.
Yes, if I share the slide. Okay, I will do that. I'll do that. Thank you.
All right, please. Is there anyone that still have question? If you still have question, please let's so that she can give answer to all our questions. I know a lot of people have jotted a lot, so we should have much questions to ask. All right. Probably on behalf of no question, I want us to appreciate please, the way we used to do here. We always appreciate a lot so that next time when we call her, she will be much more willing to, to be here for us. And Ma, we really appreciate your presence today. It means a lot to us because me personally, I've learned, unlearn, and relearn. And I also look forward to learning more from you. And please let us appreciate Mrs. Oriyomi. Are we there? Please let's appreciate her.
Okay, Wasil,
All right, yeah.
good evening. Thank you very much. Sister Oriyomi, sorry, don't let me use that one. There's a way we call it outside. I call Sister Oriyomi.
Okay.
Madam Oriyomi Abagun.
Yes,
Thank you
just call
very
me Oriyomi Abagun, please. Forget about all this title, Miss, Mrs. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate um, what you've done. I'm so glad that you were able to attend, even though with the stress in the morning that I was stressing you. You understand? Thank you very much. I know it's not easy with the timing and everything. Thank you. I really appreciate at least that you honored our invitation, and God will honor you also. Uh,
Amen. Thank you so much.
so we'll still love to see more of you.
Okay, no problem. No problem.
Thank you.
Anytime you call. Thank you. And don't worry,
Thank you.
next time I'll be able to, turn on my video and come with slides and everything. But I'll just
I
the
know
slides with
I
you.
was on who, I actually understood that I was on who blocked in some area because of the delay in topic and everything. But
Yeah,
anyways,
no problem.
thank you very much, at least that you were still able to come up and join us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. You're welcome. Anytime.
Yes,
All right,
ma'am.
bye. You have a good night.
So,
Thank you,
Thank you.
Kodri, for that, for that beautiful appreciation. And on the behalf of the family, we say a very big thank you to you, Ma. God bless you, and we look forward to have you some other time. And we'll really be glad to have you here some other time now to speak with us again. Thank you very much once again. God bless you.
Thank you.
all right. Good night, everyone.
All right. Good night.